They say Bangkok is a city that never sleeps, but no one ever told me it's a city that steals the hearts of people from all over the world. A recruiter from Google, a global giant, a man who had seen success in countless forms, but this time he was shaken. Not by the skyscrapers, not by the technology, but by the people from every corner of the world. Brilliant minds, talented individuals, those who had already made it in life. They left everything behind, their families, their homes, their comfort, just to come here. Why? For what reason? What are they searching for that Bangkok seems to hide? Is it a dream, or something far deeper than that? This isn't just a story about work. This is a story about transformation, self-discovery, and a hope that never fades. Today, we uncover the truth, why Bangkok pulls at the heart more than any other place on earth. Are you ready? Because this story will change the way you see everything forever. What is it that Thailand is hiding? Why does it attract people's hearts so powerfully? These questions echoed endlessly in the mind of Arin, a global recruiter from Google. He arrived in Bangkok on a hot, humid night filled with neon lights. The sound of cars, the murmur of people, the strange, intoxicating mix of street food aromas. Everything felt more alive than he had expected. And yet, there was something unsettling about it. He looked around. Crowds passed by, but no one looked at anyone. It was as if everyone was being pulled by something unseen in the same direction. He felt like he had stepped into an invisible current, one he couldn't escape. Arin opened his tablet. He checked the list of candidates he was scheduled to interview. The names came from all over the world: Japan, Germany, Brazil, India. But what sent a chill down his spine was the location they had all chosen. Bangkok. Every single one. No exceptions. He took a deep breath, trying to steady himself, then stepped into the towering office building in the center of the city. Inside, it was unnaturally quiet. The noise from outside vanished the moment the doors closed. There was only the sound of his breathing and the echo of his footsteps on the floor. He entered the elevator. The numbers slowly changed, too slowly, as if time itself had stretched. When the doors opened, he was greeted by a long corridor. Soft white lights illuminated the space, but somehow made everything feel colder. Rows of chairs were neatly arranged, and people were sitting there, still, silent. No one spoke. No one moved. Their eyes stared straight ahead, as if they were waiting for something. A chill ran through Arin's body, even though the air was still warm. He walked closer, trying to smile, trying to greet them, but no one responded. Only the faint sound of breathing, barely audible. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Once, twice, then everything went dark. His heart pounded violently. From the far end of the corridor, a sound emerged. A whisper, soft, but unmistakably clear, as if someone was calling his name. Arin. He turned, but saw no one. When the lights came back on, what he saw stole the air from his lungs. The chairs were still there, but every single candidate had turned to look at him, at the exact same time. Their smiles were too wide, their eyes unblinking. And in that silence, the only sound that filled the space was their voices, speaking together, slowly. He is the beginning of a dream. The words lingered in the air, heavy, unnatural. Arin stepped back, his heart racing so hard it hurt. He tried to speak, but his voice came out dry, trembling. "What are you doing?" No one answered. Only the same frozen smiles remained, as if they had been painted onto their faces. Then suddenly, one of them stood up. His movement was slow, as if controlled by something unseen. His gaze never left Arin. He took a step, then another. The sound of his shoes echoed sharply in the suffocating silence. Aaron felt the air grow heavier around him, harder to breathe, as if something was compressing the space itself. "You came here to search." The man's voice was flat, emotionless. "But you still don't understand what you are searching for." Aaron shook his head, trying to hold on to reality. "I came here for work. I came to interview." His words felt weak, even to himself. The man stopped, only a few steps away, then tilted his head slightly, as if examining him. "Everyone who comes here thinks the same at first." The whispers returned from every direction. Aaron turned around wildly, trying to find the source, but all he saw were the other candidates. Still seated, yet now their lips were moving, slowly, repeating the same word. Hope, hope, hope. The word echoed, again and again, like waves crashing endlessly. Aaron covered his ears, but the sound didn't stop. He took one step, then another, and stopped, because he heard footsteps, not his own, coming from behind him. Slow, clear, getting closer with every second. Aaron didn't dare turn around, but he knew. This time, he was no longer alone. The footsteps stopped, very close, so close he could feel a faint vibration through the floor. His breathing slowed. He closed his eyes for just a fraction of a second before finally deciding to turn around, slowly, carefully. What he saw made him freeze. It wasn't a candidate. It wasn't a stranger. It was a middle-aged man, a face so familiar it hurt deep inside his chest. His father, standing right there, wearing the same simple clothes as the day Aaron left home. Those eyes, still warm, but carrying a quiet exhaustion. "Dad." Aaron's voice was barely a whisper. The man didn't answer immediately. He simply looked at him, silently, as if weighing something unseen. "This place makes you see what you've tried to forget." His father's voice was calm, clear, but not harsh. Aaron shook his head, taking a small step back. "This isn't real." "It's just an illusion." But deep inside, his heart knew it wasn't just that. His father stepped closer, each step heavy with silence. "Do you remember that day?" The question cut through him, like a blade. Memories rushed back. The small house, a dining table with only 2 plates, his mother, forcing a smile, even though her eyes were full of worry, and him, younger, speaking with a hard voice. "I have to go. I'm not staying here forever." Aaron clenched his fists, his breath caught in his throat. "I did it for my future," he spoke, as if trying to defend himself. His father shook his head gently. "A future where no one is waiting for you at home." The words silenced everything. Even the noise of the city seemed to disappear. Suddenly, the ground beneath him began to tremble. Light at first, then stronger. The walls around him shifted, from a corridor into his old house. Everything exactly the same. The wooden chair, the faded curtains by the window, the faint, familiar smell of food. Aaron looked around, his eyes filled with confusion and pain. His mother sat at the table, her back facing him, her shoulders trembling slightly, as if she were crying. He stepped closer, his hands shaking. "Mom." His voice broke. She froze, but didn't turn around. His father stood behind him, silent, watching. "You made your choice," his father's voice came again. "But this place will make you understand the price of that choice. Tears streamed down Aaron's face. He shook his head. I just wanted to succeed. I just wanted to prove myself. Slowly, his mother turned around. Her face wore a gentle smile, but her eyes were filled with deep sadness. Have you achieved it yet? The question was soft, but unbearably heavy. Aaron said nothing. There was no answer, only emptiness inside him. Suddenly, the sounds of Bangkok returned, loud, overlapping, neon lights, cars, voices. Everything collided into the house. The walls shook, the image distorted. His parents began to fade, like mist dissolving into air. Aaron reached out, trying to hold on to them, but grasped nothing. Don't forget what truly matters. His father's final words echoed before everything went dark again. When the light returned, he found himself standing in front of the same building, on a street in Bangkok. People walked past him, as if nothing had happened. But in his hand, there was something. An old photograph. His family. The one he thought he had lost forever. Aaron stared at it, his hands trembling, his heart heavy. And then he heard a voice again. Not a whisper, not from the past, but from someone standing right behind him. You've seen it too, haven't you? Aaron slowly turned around, and this time, the person standing before him was not a memory, but a woman, dressed neatly in business attire, her eyes filled with understanding and something deeper. Bangkok doesn't call people here for success, she said softly, but firmly. It calls them to face themselves. Aaron stared at her, as if trying to read something hidden in her gaze. She gave a faint smile, not like the others before. This one was warm, yet mysterious. And some people, she paused, looking straight into his eyes, can never go back to who they were. Those words lingered, like a shadow stretching across his heart. He stood still gripping the photograph tightly, his eyes never leaving hers. Who are you? His voice was dry, but steady. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she turned to look at the street. People continued walking, unaware of anything that had happened. I once came here, just like you, she said slowly, with dreams, with the belief that the world had answers waiting for me. Aaron frowned, his heart still heavy. And what did you find? She turned back, her gaze deeper now. I found a question I couldn't escape. A warm breeze passed by, yet it made him feel cold. She stepped closer, the distance between them shrinking. You still have a choice, but you must decide. Aaron looked down at the photograph in his hand. A simple family, simple smiles, but real. His heart trembled. Choose what? He asked, softly, barely audible. She remained silent for a moment, then pointed toward the road ahead, filled with bright lights, tall buildings, and endless crowds. If you walk forward, you will have everything you ever wanted. Fame, success, a life others dream of. She paused, then slowly pointed in another direction. A narrow alley, darker, quieter, almost empty. But if you choose this path, you may gain nothing, except what you once left behind. Aaron swallowed hard. The silence pressed down on him. The sounds of the city began to fade, as if everything was waiting for his answer. He closed his eyes. Images flooded his mind once more. His mother, smiling through tears. His father, standing in silence. The small house, the dinner table, the laughter he once had. And then, himself in the present. A luxurious office, computer screens, numbers, targets, and the silence of late nights. Aaron opened his eyes. He took a deep breath. He looked forward. The city lights still burned brightly, attractive, like a familiar calling. But this time, he could feel the emptiness hidden within it. He turned to look at the narrow alley. It was dark, uncertain, filled with fear. Yet there was something that made his heart feel slightly warmer. The woman still stood there, silent, not rushing him, not pressuring him, as if she knew that this answer had to come from him alone. Aaron looked down at the photograph again, his fingers gently traced over it, slowly, as if afraid it might disappear. "What if I choose wrong?" he said, his voice trembling slightly. The woman gave a faint smile. "There is no wrong choice, only what you are willing to accept." Her words stilled him. His heartbeat slowed, but became steadier. He took a deep breath again, then stepped forward. One step. The sounds of the city seemed to stop. 2 steps. The noise in his mind began to fade. 3 steps. He felt lighter. And yet, a voice began to rise, not from outside, but from within. His own voice, asking again and again, "Who are you about to become?" Aaron stopped, midway, between 2 worlds. His breath trembled, his grip on the photograph tightened, and suddenly, the world around him began to shift again. The street, the lights, the people, everything distorted, like shattered glass. The woman slowly faded away, but her voice remained. "No matter what you choose, Bangkok will not let you go easily." Darkness slowly consumed everything, leaving only Aaron, standing, with a question that had no answer. And in that deep silence, the sound of his heart grew louder, strong, steady, like a countdown, to a decision that could never be undone. The darkness slowly faded, like a curtain being gently pulled away. Aaron was still standing there, his heart still pounding, but the rhythm was calmer now, his breathing deeper, more grounded. The world around him returned, the streets of Bangkok, the lights, the voices of people. Everything looked the same, but he was no longer the same. Aaron looked ahead. The choice was still there, clear, not forcing him, not rushing him, simply waiting. He looked down at the photograph again. This time, he didn't feel pain. Instead, he felt something warm, something he had forgotten. He closed his eyes, and in that silence, there were no more whispers, no voices calling him, no invisible pull, only the sound of his own heart, speaking clearly. He opened his eyes and stepped forward. Not rushed, not hesitant, but steady. He walked past the bright city lights, but didn't stop, didn't look back. The noise of the world was still there, but it could no longer pull him. He turned into the narrow alley, quiet, dimly lit, yet his heart felt brighter. With every step he took, it was as if something was being released from him. The pressure, the expectations, the noise of the outside world, fading, until only he remained, and what truly mattered. As he walked deeper, the city began to change. The tall buildings disappeared, replaced by small streets. Houses lined along the road, just like in his memories. The air felt different, warm, familiar. Aaron stopped. In front of him was the same house, the house he once left behind. The door unchanged, the window slightly open, a soft light glowing from inside. He stood there, his heart beating fast again, but not from fear, from something he had never dared to face. He raised his hand, slowly, and knocked on the door. The sound was soft but clear. Moments later, the door opened. His mother stood there, her eyes filled with surprise, then, slowly, warmth, tears forming. Aaron stood still, saying nothing, but everything was spoken through his eyes. She reached out, grasped his hand tightly, as if never wanting to let go again. "You're home." Her voice trembled. Aaron nodded, tears falling freely now. "Yes." A single word, but filled with meaning. He stepped inside. Everything was the same, but this time, he was not the same person anymore. His father's voice came from inside. "Who is it?" When his father walked out, their eyes met. Silence filled the space, but it wasn't heavy. His father gave a small nod, as if understanding everything, without a single word. Aaron smiled, a simple smile, but real, for the first time in years. That night, there were no whispers, no illusions, only the sound of dishes, soft conversations, and laughter slowly returning. The next morning, Aaron stood in front of the house, looking at the sky, soft sunlight shining down. He picked up his phone, the screen filled with emails, opportunities, the life he once chased. He stared at it quietly, then turned the screen off. Not because he rejected it all, but because he no longer needed to run. Bangkok still existed, full of lights, dreams, and unseen calls. But now, Aaron understood. It wasn't a place that changed people's lives. It was a mirror, reflecting who we truly are and what we are willing to choose. He turned back into the house. The door slowly closed, gently, leaving behind the sunlight outside and the peace within. The story didn't end with greatness, but with truth, simple yet profound, that sometimes going back is the bravest way to move forward.